but we'll focus primarily on how to grow your business with Google search ads. I'm going to be monitoring both the chat box and the Q&A box. So as Cheri goes along, please feel free to enter any additional questions for those questions you already added when you've registered. Cheri will be talking about those as we go through. We'll take a pause about 20 minutes in, and we'll take those questions at that time. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Cheri Bales. Cheri has been a SCORE mentor for us since 2017, and she's owner of Hannah Gold Communications. She's got extensive marketing expertise and social media expertise, and she's going to be talking to you today about how to leverage Google search ads. So Cheri, why don't you take it away?
Hi, John. Thanks. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
All right. Let's see if we've got the right shifting of screens. Hey, look, that's me. I'm going to be really quick because we have a lot of information to cover today. Check out my website. Look me up on LinkedIn. I've been doing marketing, as John said, for 30 years. Not going to tell you how many. In every aspect, from nonprofit to restaurant to retail to the golf industry. Got a lot of different little tricks in my tool bag, and I'm going to try to share some of those with you today. But more importantly, I'm going to show you what I think is an incredibly easy way, let me say easier way, to run a Google ad and to get your business out there in front of people. So, when was the last time you typed something near me in the Google search box, right? Raise your hand. Yeah, exactly. You know, constantly typing things in there. That's how I find things. And that's how a lot of people are finding things. So what we're in the business of doing here with this Google ad through Constant Contact is getting your business to the top of this list. So when you do a Google search, you'll see this list, and then they'll start to show you each one, nice iPhone, each one of the venues underneath that. But 49% of people click text ads. This is a text ad. This is the Constant Contact test. And Google also says that 75% of people believe paid search ads make it easier to find information. I couldn't disagree. The more the information that you have or that you can provide for someone who's looking, the better, right? So that statistic, you know, really only makes sense. And that's from an SEO firm called Clutch. If anybody is interested in seeing that data, you can just go to, I can send you a link to that. So these are great statistics. 49% of people are clicking, 75% of people believe that makes it easier to find information. So what we really want to know is, what's it going to cost? That's almost what everyone wants to know. What's it going to cost, and what's my return on investment? This is some information from the Google Economic Impact Report. And again, I can provide you with the methodology and the research behind this. There's also a couple of blogs that have been written on this topic. But it is said that for every $1 spent on Google Ads, businesses earn $2 in revenue. Now, if you've ever bought a Google ad and you've spent money on it, you're probably thinking, yeah, right. Well, we're going to see, you know, what is it that makes that true? And there are some things that we can do as advertisers to help Google help us, basically. 40% of the clicks go to the top 3 paid ads. No kidding. When you open, and see, I'm kind of biased, so I don't click on the top 3 or any that say ad next to them, because those are the big players. None of us small business people can compete against them. You know, none of our nonprofits are going to be able to compete when you type in donate money for a good cause. We're not going to be able to compete with those paid ads that are at the top. But if you can find words that not everyone is using to search for your product or service, then you might get up to the top. And then if you pay for an ad, that might also move you up the links a little bit. It's not a miracle, and it doesn't happen overnight. It does take some science and some data study. But then 75% of local searches become in-store visits. This statistic was probably put in here last year. And so I'm not sure that in-store is the right word, but maybe we could say 75% of local searches become fancy word conversions, meaning they result in a sale, a referral to business, or a referral to your donation site or your nonprofit or your organization. So 75% of local searches, again, the Google Economic Report. So with that in mind, you know, we realize that Google ads are really powerful. And I'm going to just show you when we're all done. I'm going to just screenshot out to the Google Ads account that I manage and just show you what it looks like compared to the avenue that we're going to use today to get through the Google maze. So the good news is that Google Constant Contact has partnered with a company called Cobiro to bring Google Ads inside Constant Contact. And here's what the benefit is, because we can now automate our ad creation from in here. This app, this integration allows artificial intelligence to choose our keywords and manage our bids, and I'll explain what that means in a little bit, and optimization, so that your ads are more likely to work because you've got an expert plugging in the parts that you might not know. So let's take keywords real quickly. How many of you would put in 20 keywords? Okay, for a Google ad, they want you to put 40. Google likes 40 keywords, so they want you to bid on 40 keywords. And we'll talk about that bidding thing again. But basically, you know, let me go back here for just a second. Nope, I'm gonna go here. Sorry. So basically today, what we're going to talk about is what the ads are, because I think there is some confusion amongst my clients, particularly on the difference between a Google My Business page, which is just a social media tool that Google runs and you need to have, or a Google ad. And they've been called lots of different things: AdWords, Google Ads, Google Search Ads. They're all the same thing, an advertisement that you run with the Google giant. I'm going to show you how to make an ad, how to keep it up to date a little bit with different budgets and dates and series of times that you can run that, and then how to manage the ad. And I'll show you all but my credit card steps to connecting your payment source as well for Google Ads, which you will need to do. And John will have a link for you a little bit later on. And then we actually have some tips or strategies that that I've experienced and that the folks at Constant Contact have provided me to give you as examples. So let's move on really quickly to what are Google search ads and how do they work? All right, when you search for something online, Google looks at what you typed, and through its little thing called an algorithm, which is a scientific data, probably some millions of scatter sheet type thing that I don't want to know anything about, but it's artificial intelligence and it's tracking your behaviors. Google sees the term you searched for, looks through the behaviors, and then gives you the best possible results. So in this case, in this example of the ad, you can see that the customer typed custom garage door, Broomfield. I'm assuming Broomfield is in, oh, it's in Colorado. So as you can see, the paid ad is at the top. Anything with this little green ad, it could be red, I suppose, but this one happens to be green, means they are paying, and they paid for garage door. See that? They also paid for custom. Those are words that you searched for that showed up because they have them in their ad number 1 and they have an ad number 2. So down, this is the chance right here at the top. People like to click toward the top. They don't want to take too much time or effort. So being at the top is great, but it might not happen overnight. So, and there's some sneaky ways to get around it. But again, it's based on those keywords. And I'd say custom garage door is a pretty popular keyword, so it would cost you more to get to the top of this list. The second result is the organic result, and you'll see that that is not an advertisement, but it does contain the keywords garage door, Broomfield, custom garage door. Now, I don't know about you, but if I search Broomfield and some national chain comes up that really doesn't have a Bloomfield, that's more of a customer to, or not customer, business to customer, business to consumer direct, I go with the local ones. That's just me. But a good chunk of those clicks go right to the top of that first one. So the way this works is, as an advertiser, you bid on those search terms, custom garage door, Broomfield. All right, so you're bidding on that or the words which relate to your business or industry. And every time you do a search, or one of your customers, potential customers, does a search, potential donors, Google looks at all the advertisers first and then shows the winners, quote unquote, I'm making air quotes, to appear at the top of the list. Okay, so you heard the keywords in there: advertiser, right? And winners. That means that you have bid the most money for that particular keyword, Broomfield garage door custom. Those winners, there could be 5 garage door custom makers in Bloomfield, but those winners are ranked then in the position that they show, top to bottom, by the relevance of the keyword. So if you do searches a lot and you notice this, all 4 words of my search are showing up in both of those results, search results. So that's what Google is going to do. They're going to look for people, or for sites that are relevant, that have relevant keywords. They're actually sending people out, bots, again, these artificial intelligent bots. When you run an ad, you got to know they're checking your website out, and they are crawling your website. It's called crawling, looking for the keywords that you said you have, looking for the complete and accurate information that you promised to provide based on the search terms. So your landing page, the quality of your website, really impacts how quickly you can get to the top as well. And then the third one is, beyond relevance and the quality of your page, is the price of the keyword bid. And you choose how much you would like to spend on a word. So let's say that Google Ads, Google Ads works on a pay per click basis. That's called PPC, pay per click. Write this down if you don't remember anything else. You only pay when someone clicks. So the guy up on top here, Broomfield garage door, if I click on that ad and it takes me to his website or online ordering or donation site or pet adoption site or retail carry out, then I'm going to pay. But if I just scroll by it and nobody ever clicks on it, then you're not going to pay. So keep that in mind. It scares a lot of people when you say Google an ad, because it sounds like a lot, sounds like a big commitment. It's not that hard. So basically, Google Ads work. You set the budget. I'm going to show you how to do that. You've got to choose the right audience when you're setting these things up. You have to use your location if you're a regional or a local or a storefront, or at least your market. And don't forget, you've got those keywords, the relevant keywords. So if you were searching on Google, it says people who are searching on Google are searching with intent, meaning they're more likely to purchase. So by the time they search for hair care near me or hair care Lexington, they're looking to get their hair done. They're not just browsing the Wi-Fi. All right, but remember, you're only paying on a cost per click, meaning you can make any budget work. You know, I'm going to show you some industry numbers in a little bit, but set a daily budget that you will not exceed. So you say, I want to spend $150 a month. Google will spend that. It might not even spend all of it, because if no one clicks, then you don't have to worry about it. Plus, the ads are flexible. You can turn them on and off, which is really helpful. And I think people don't realize they have the ability to do that. You don't just need to leave it running out there for the rest of eternity. And once your ad goes live, which could be as quick as an hour, you can start getting results. So people can start clicking through. It's amazing what Google, the whole Google Analytics and My Business and the ads can do together. So always get this question, what does it cost? Okay, average cost per click to run an ad is $2.41. That is a per click, cost per click, CPC. The way I relate that to business as a business owner is, would you hand me $2.41, well, actually contactless, would you Venmo me $2.41 in order for me to go to your website and look at something that you want me to see? If you think that's worth it, great. And I'm going to show you how to measure whether there's a return on investment in that conversion, if $2.41 is enough for you to be advertising and showing a return on investment. But remember, because there's a bidding system, those words that are the most popular, and Google will tell you what those are the ones that are going to get searched the most. So they're going to cost you more. I want to bring to attention a couple of things. Of course, number one at the top is law and government. So who's not advertising on Google Ads right now that's running for political office? You know, I think law and government kind of covers that particular statistic. But I also wanted to draw you down here to dining and nightlife. Oh, so this is, remember, $6.35, because we've got our average cost over here in our industry here, cost per click. So this is expensive by what they're showing by industry standards. Now on the other end of it here is dining and nightlife at $1.30, missing a zero, gosh, $1.30 a click, because the popular keywords there aren't that expensive. All right, so you know, it's food or restaurant, and they're not as expensive as they are with law and government. And I would have to see their search terms to tell you why that is so expensive. But attorney services, for example, are more expensive than dining at a restaurant. So that means your cost per click can be significantly more and still be of value to you. So if it costs me $1.30 to get someone into my restaurant, and the average, I'm gonna go carry out because that's what we're doing, the average carry out bill is $45, that's a great return on that $1.30 click. You know, on the other side, if I'm selling yellow rubber duckies that cost $1.38 to manufacture and $2.50 to ship, and it costs me $1.38 to get a click, I'm losing money. So there's a little bit of math involved there. Happy to walk someone through that. Here's a couple of quick examples, and we're going to use some fake favorites here. So these are some of our Constant Contact fake favorite businesses. So contrary to popular belief, Google Ads can be used for any kind of business or organization. All right, you can have a nonprofit, see the .org in the second example, you know, and still take advantage of Google Ads. And what you might find is that not a lot of nonprofits realize that, and you might get to the top of the heap by, let's call it, default. So, all right, so any type, even nonprofits, we can use a Google ad for multiple reasons, but remember, if you've been on one of these with me before, I'm always harping on call to action, call to action. So when you send someone just to your landing page on your website, that's like me doing a search for red Adidas pickleball shoes, size 10, available for pickup today near me. And my search engine taking me to the Nike homepage. I didn't get what I wanted. Yes, they're probably there, and I'm going to have to dig around and find them. I'm going to have to do my search over again. So for goodness sake, you know, if you're advertising takeout, carry out food, as you look at in that top one, you don't want to drive people to your homepage. You want to send them to your menu. And even better, if your carry out, your ordering platform has enough detail on your product, you could send them right there. Why give them a chance to forget where they were headed? You know, have you ever gotten up and walked out into the other room and totally forgot what you have gone there for? Well, web browser people, we do the same thing on the web. So make sure you're sending them somewhere that's important, okay? Don't just throw them out into the area there. Make sure you're sending them with intent and a call to action. So this first ad, they're promoting a limited menu item, our new Roscoe's sandwich. All right, and they have call or click to order today. Now you can't see the click, but it's there, and absolutely would be in the ad. So they give you the opportunity to put a link and to put your phone number, anything you want to get in there, you pretty much can. So in the second one, they want people to find the right dog by getting a free adoption guide. So that's going to be a downloaded white paper. Ooh, somebody asked me that question. Let me kind of answer that real quickly in just one sentence or so. Downloaded white papers. What can be? Sorry, I had to take a question here for sure. What's the best thing? Yeah, what are the best types of ads to convert best? Photos, videos, white papers, stories, etc. Great question. It depends on your goal. Depends on what you want to get out of it. So if you want people to read your blog story because it's an up and coming and it's really important and you have a call to action at the end, then that's what you advertise. If you want people to download your free adoption guide, then that's what you advertise. If you want people to schedule a meeting with you or a call today, then that's what you advertise. And let's look at how much we could expect to spend on something like this. $456 a month for Jack's Barbecue. What do you think about that? What's the end goal? Remember that? We specifically want to target the right people for this. But now these are some examples of budgets. So with this sort of a business, a suggested daily budget of $15 is not that extravagant because the expected cost per click, remember that food one down at about $1.30 a click? That's a 50-cent per click. So you might be spending $15 a day, but you're getting 30 clicks. All right, so 15 times 2 or divided by 15 expected click, 15 divided by, no, 15 times 2. Boy, I just lost my calculation thought there. I'll figure that out in a second. Suggested daily budget is 15. You spend 15. The cost per click is 50 cents. So you stand to get, I can't multiply that fast, 127% return on your investment for a 456. So if it's $15 budget one day and you get all those clicks and they buy $50 worth of Jack's Backyard Barbecue, then you look great. So the end cost though, that $456 per month, remember, is based on the number of clicks. So you might end up somewhere and it would be, there we go, right around 900 clicks. That first example at $456 a month, 50 cents a click, gets you right around 900 clicks. Here's a budget for nonprofits, suggested $15. Expected cost per click, $1.50. Okay, it costs a little bit more, but you still might get 304 total clicks. And that's the most you could pay for if your budget was maxed out at $456. In the last example for French consulting, those of us in the service industries, suggest a budget of 15. Our cost per click is $1.19. A daily budget of 15, that's 456 a month. So that's going to be a little bit less than, or a little bit more than that 300 clicks. That one I don't have calculated out. But for the restaurant, for example, if the average order is $25, that means we only need 19 customers from this ad to cover the cost. The restaurant, chicken, waffles, and bacon, if the average order is 25, and that's probably low, we need 19 customers. Remember, we were looking at a possibility of 912 clicks for that ad. All right. If the dog ad, if the cost for adopting is $250, not just cost, but the proceeds, you only need 2 people from that ad. And then in the last one, if an average monthly service per client is $450 a month, then just getting 1 new client would obviously be a return on your investment there. Whoo! We're going to just go, oh, sure, it didn't click through. There they are. You need 1 new client, 2 people to adopt, or 19 customers to make a return on your investment. All right, how to create, maintain, and manage ads. John, have any questions come in the Q&A for me?
Yeah, and one in particular, and you've been going through the cost per click, depending upon the business, and actually how do you set this whole thing up. But on the cost per click, each business has a different cost per click. Can you comment on how that works, or how that's estimated?
Sure. Well, it's based on your budget, number one. It's based on the price of the keywords on which you are bidding. So if you spend $100 and your keyword bid for realtor was $10 a day and you got 1 click a day, you would break even because you would get $100 in referral. But the value of that referral is much more than just that $100. So I'm not explaining that very well, am I?
I think
It's based on bids. So whoever bids the most for your words is going to get to the top of the list.
right.
Now, in certain industries, those words are scarce. In other industries, they're wide open. I once had a client whose URL had 0 competition. I mean, no one had her search terms at all. But it's based on the science is you give it a budget, you tell it how long to spend that budget, and then Google will throw your stuff out there whenever it clicks on search terms and you have good web information or good ordering information or good donor platform. So people get there and they get what they want. So Google's evaluating that to get you to the top if you're spending money.
Excellent.
And that's also, I'm just going to add, that's also, Ed, that's also how we make Google Ads cost effective, is we watch the traffic and we watch the cost of the keywords. And if we're not really getting customers spending on those expensive keywords, then we would choose different keywords. The other thing with keeping Google Ads affordable is you might have just a special period of time. I have a home health care agency and we run tons, 12, 13 ads around the holidays because that's when people are coming home, seeing mom and dad, needing help. So that's another way to keep those costs down is turn them on and off. Thanks.
Okay. Go back to the previous slide for a second because somebody wants to see the info on there. And so we'll pause on that. But while people are looking at that slide, are there any businesses that don't pay for a Google ad?
Oh, most businesses don't pay for a Google ad, but you cannot get at the top of the list unless you pay. The majority of businesses, and that's what makes it so cool because Google Ads is scary sounding. I admit I was intimidated when I first started learning the platform. And a lot of smaller businesses, as a result, don't want to mess with it because it is, I'm going to show you what the normal interface looks like. It is intimidating. And it is scientific and it is based on some marketing and some SEO stuff, but not with this platform. I'm going to show you how to make it just really easy. And if you happen to be advertising keywords that no one else is, you're going to be at the top of the list. The challenge is finding those keywords.
Excellent. Okay.
This chart is how you calculate your return on investment. If you invest $456 per month on the top line, you need at least 19 customers to spend your average of 25 apiece. Now, chances are if you have 900 clicks, you'll get more than 19 customers. And that's where the $1 to $4 return comes in that Google Ads is suggesting. Okay.
Excellent. I think that covers everything right now. Again, I'd encourage everybody, when you do have a question, you can either put it in the Q&A area or chat. And also, I want to remind everybody we are recording this, and you will be getting a link in the next day or so that you can go back through all of this info at your leisure. Okay, Cheri.
Okay, great. So we're going to talk about how to write a good ad, because if you don't know what the outcome of the ad is supposed to be, it's going to be really hard to choose the right content, the right words, the right calls to action, the right links. So I want you to think about the call to action is, what do we want people to do once they click? Do you want them to print a coupon? Probably not a real valid call to action anymore, but I have had clients who do that and it works. Do you want them to place an order? Do you want them to download a booklet like the 5-Step Marketing Strategy ebook? Do you want them to click to schedule a consultation, or do you just want to send them to a story on your website? So the first thing you got to determine is where you're going to link your ad. So you can go to landing page, sub landing page. You can even send people to Facebook if that's your goal. But it's important that Google is actually going to use the scoring process based on where your links go to. So if this menu.com/menu/ has problems, could be it's not a secure ordering site. Actually, it doesn't have an S after the HTTP. That's not a very good, it's just a fake business. But it could be that they get there and Google bot crawls over and it sees your menu and it crashes into a 404 error because something just disconnected itself and you had no idea. So that's why you want to make sure that the background stuff is ready to go before you're running that ad. So it's going to go out there, it's going to use that scoring process, and it's based on relevancy, the quality of the website, the mobile responsiveness. Almost everyone now has mobile responsive websites. If you don't, you need to. You really do, especially right now during pandemic times. Also load times, and that kind of goes hand in hand with mobile responsiveness. How many of us will sit, click a link, and I have amazing Wi-Fi here where I live, but if it takes more than, I don't know, 8 to 10 seconds for something to come up, I'm usually on to something better. But so if Google's out there using that scoring system, the higher your score, the more likely your chance of showing up in the ads and the higher your ranking. So how about writing? How to write an effective ad. Incorporate numbers. It can be in the headline. As long as it makes sense to your content, then it makes sense to use it. And this one uses an ampersand, a cute little and sign, and a couple little hyphenations here. It does not incorporate the numbers, but that could actually help. You also want to remember your unique selling point, okay? That is your special sauce. I know there's people on here. I see Julie and Loretta. I know there's people on here that have heard me talk about your special sauce. Boy, oh boy, and I'm not talking about barbecue sauce. What is it that makes you the most unique person for me to buy this product from? So this is our new Roscoe sandwich. That's unique. That is the unique selling point. It's that easy. It's one little thing. It's the Roscoe sandwich. And I did a beer launch for a client over the weekend for a brewery, and that's what it was. It was, come drink this beer. And then don't forget, again, Cheri nagging you, don't forget a call to action. Call or click to order today. Clicking would go right here. It would take me right to that menu, and oh, I would see their food and I would want to order. All right, you can have people call, you can have them message, you really want the call button though, because you need people to be able to reach you on their first try. So if you do not have a call button on your ad, people aren't going to be able to call you by pressing a button. They'll have to go dial your phone number, and we know how well that works. We forgot what we walked into the other room for, and I can't do a 9-digit number in my head, 10-digit number. All right, so remember, you're ending this with a call to action, whether it's call us now, text us, order now. make sure that the copy is relevant. You don't get a lot of words here, so you don't want to put a whole lot of stuff in here. You're going to want to pare that down. Copy needs to be brief, and then there's this cool thing called A/B testing that I'll show you a bit later on in case you want to use it. But the nice thing here with Constant Contact's Google Ads setup, and these are some screenshots from the actual thing, is see, they are giving you 459 keywords. Holy molies. Now, is it going to cost you $459 a day to buy those keywords, to bid on those keywords? No, it could cost you as little as 30 cents a day. These are just words that people have used to find restaurants like Jack's Barbecue. All right, so that is the artificial intelligence is telling you, hey, based on your Constant Contact business account, so this happens to be Jack's Barbecue, here's what we think will work for you. And so this is a really, really cool tool. Remember I said keywords and searching. Some of that takes, some serious background. And, sometimes even if other businesses bid more than you do on your ad, on your click, if you're more relevant or your website is more comprehensive and easier to navigate and prettier, quite frankly, and up to date, obviously, and WordPress helps. Not that Wix or GoDaddy are bad. No, they're fine. And Constant Contact has landing pages. But the better your page and your stuff comes up, the higher you're likely to rank for those keywords. So I mentioned Google suggests 40 keywords at least, and they're going to give you 459. So you can easily choose 40 from there. They say 20 is the minimum, but the more you have, the better. And don't focus on just the popular keywords that everyone's looking for. All right, so bidding and finding the keywords can take some time. But if you want to trigger your ads, you don't want to be too specific or general, but you want to make sure the keywords and the landing page are closely related to the term that the customer is looking for. Red pickleball shoe size 10. And I want to go to Nike's homepage. All right, I want to go right to the menu. Also think about something, boy, I'm just blasting this stuff at you, I know. SEO is search engine optimization, which is keywords. But now there's this other thing called long-tailed SEO, which says people type in phrases rather than just words. And everything we've looked at shows phrases, but the terminology for that is long tail or long SEO because it's more of a phrase. Businesses near me, restaurants at Houghton Lake. Think about that because those longer ones might be a little less expensive because no one's thought of them yet. These are phrases that people might actually be using to search for your business. So if you can find those longer words, and the way you do this is you just go search your page yourself. Search for your page and see when you come up. And if you don't come up with the words you want, then you need to go put them on your website. But they're going to show you how to do this in Constant Contact. They're going to show you how to do this too. These are just great. I mean, this one's pretty obvious. You can add your selected location. If you have a physical location, you can select a radius. I think they do make you use an address in a Google ad, but you can target based on location. You might try states or start where your awareness is stronger. If you don't have a physical location, say, you're Marcus Lemonis and you're selling camping gear, you might target based on lots of places where people are outdoorsy, like Colorado and Wyoming. But with target audiences come in another workshop. Suffice it to say the target audience is what exactly your most desired customer looks like, where they are, and what they're doing. And then after you're all done running your ad, look at all the cool things that you can do. You can measure these in your analytics. So this is book a Bikram yoga class at Half Moon Yoga Studio. It's a paid ad. And she got all kinds of great traffic, got impressions and clicks. We don't care about impressions as much as we do clicks. All right. And so you can go in and you can look at these things. And I think it's time that I actually show you because there's so many things you could look at in analytics that I could go for days. So instead, I'm going to jump out here, and I have two windows open so that I can show you. Yes, I'm still here. Don't log me out. So I can show you Constant Contact. So this is the live demo part. And honestly, you can see this in 2.2 minutes and 41 seconds if you search the title of this webinar and Constant Contact and videos. So this also, don't forget, is being recorded, but we can definitely point you in the right direction if you just need a recap. So this is the Constant Contact interface. Campaigns is what they call their emails or their events. Okay, Contacts is a great CRM. You have to put your own emails in if you're going to send emails or event invitations. Reporting is their analytics. You can generate newsletter sign-up forms, because remember, this was a newsletter-only platform. Put those on your Facebook, your web page, your other social, if you are going to send out Constant Contact ads or something like that. Your library is where all your pictures and collateral materials live. We're going to talk about social integrations. Allows you to use things like e-commerce, Shopify, PayPal, and you can even make a website in Constant Contact. But we're looking at social because that's where ads are. So Google is a social platform. I know it's a search engine, but it's also a social platform. So when you go in here and start wandering around, look for social. And don't worry about this stuff, but you're looking for the big blue create button. All right, we want to run an ad. Look at this. You can run any kind of ad from here. All you have to do is tie your account to Constant Contact. Well, all you have to do is have Constant Contact and tie your account to that. So I put together a couple of addresses. Let me go and grab this one. Oh, here it is. My blog, that's what we're going to use for this example. And it's not ready yet, but I'm going to put it in here anyway. So I just enter the website for my ads. Now that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It means where you want your ads to go, okay? So your Google ad will link to this page, and then make sure it's actually the right page. There you go, Hannah Gold. That's how it looks like on mobile, and that's what it looks like on desktop. And we'll close that. And we want it to be in English, although you can choose, as you see, a ton of things. But we're going to just go forge ahead and create an ad. And there's several steps here. I'm going to go through them quickly. And then I'm going to show you some more examples in just a bit. Come on, fancy Wi-Fi. That could be Google connecting to their thing. All right, so here, the campaign details is what the heck was that call to action? If you just leave it untitled Google Ads created 2020, you can't tell without going in there and digging around what that campaign was called. So what I tend to do is try to remember what it is, and then I change it to Hannah Gold July 2020 blog. So I know that it's my July 2020 blog, and I'm going to call it an ad. And see, you only get 80 characters here. Okay, so it's important to be brief, and you will have to be brief. Two things over here real quickly. This is interesting that Google is showing, I'm not sure Google, yeah, I think it is Google, is showing a lower cost per click and higher cost through rates at the 3-week mark. So that's important to remember. You can turn your ad off, change something up, move it to another image or edit or just run a new ad. But remember, you're only paying for clicks to the website, so it's really overall more cost effective. You can pause at any time you like. All right, we're going to move ahead with this ad. The company name is Hannah Gold Communications. That's me. And I've done this enough to know that Google is going to say, nope, you cannot use a slash in your name. So I'm going to change that. This is the name of my business that will be used in my campaign and in the ad copy somewhere. And I might be able to put that back in, that slash. Where should my ad be shown? Well, I can do city, region, state, country, and you can add up to 10 locations. So I'm going to say Michigan. How about Florida? I have some people from Georgia. Georgia, United States. Make sure you get the right one. And then I don't really have to do radius, but here's my hometown. Yes, there really is a Kalamazoo, Michigan. And Kalamazoo, Michigan, the actual city, then I would want to target by a radius. And I want, see, this is a whole state, so I don't have to have a radius, unless you want to be within the radius of Georgia. But if, let's say, I'm willing to serve clients within a 60-mile radius, I can set that target area, and that's where Google is going to show my ads. Okay, they're not going to show them in Philadelphia. They're not going to show them in New Jersey. So we'll update that. I might be able to make it. My computer keeps loading. Come on. Where should it be? We got our locations. We have 4 locations. And it says saved. Oh, here we are at the bottom. Continue. Big blue buttons. All right, so now this is our ad over here. Variation 1. They're actually going to help you do 1 or 2. So what's most important up here? Well, for me, it's marketing strategy for small. See, ran out of characters. You get 30. It's not very much. So I'm going to say marketing strategy, and I'm going to go down here and say for small businesses throughout, nope, I'm just going to say small businesses. And how nice that they have given us, oh, I knew that, a third line now, a third headline option, because for the longest time, there were only 2. Okay. And then this description just came from less than 80 characters. So I'm just going to take out graphic design. That just came off my website. And do I want them to call my phone number? I think not. I think we're going to send them to the web page. Okay, and remember I did choose to send them to the blog, but this is not showing that. So we've written our ad, and this is going to keep you short and sweet, that character limitation. This one gives you a little bit more, but remember, be very specific about what you have to say because you don't have a lot of room in which to say it. I'm not going to put my phone number in there. All right, our robots, the bots just crawled out and said, related to HannahGoldCommunications.com blogs, we discovered 556 relevant keywords. Keep in mind, keywords are words that trigger your ads and decide where your ads appear on Google. So these words, Google AdWords, Google Ads, Google AdWord, Google Advertising, Google Keyword, Campaign Management, Google, those are all on my website. All those words are buried in there somewhere. And they're saying, hey, these are the words you can bid on those. Or they're saying you could add your own. So I could add marketing consulting. And now that's a custom keyword. I don't really know what its value is. And up here you can see the volume, and that shows how many people have that word also on their website. So I want to get down here where there's not a lot of people who have that on their website. What's up here? How many should I select? Oh, we mentioned 40. I think I showed you this before. Okay, so now we're not adding any more manual keywords. We're going to click continue. We're going to use all 459 of those words that they suggest. Here's where you set your budget. Again, so much easier than the other interface. And I have about 75 test ads out there running at $5 a day for Hannah Gold Communications. And potentially 100 or 1,058 people could see that ad, but only 32 of them are likely to click based on my keyword bid. So watch what happens to this clicks number. As I raise my bid per day, it goes up. So how many clicks do you want to get? And you can even set your own custom budget. Again, remember, it depends. Some industries you can advertise on Google for $5 a day. Evidently, marketing consulting isn't one of them. But look at the results, look at the potential results for reach and impressions and clicks. Remember, a pretty narrow audience. And then decide. And then based on your monthly budget, you will get around that many clicks. So this is based on average for my industry. This is mine only. Wow, I don't know. So here it is. July blog ad, always on, so the campaign is on. Got the link here where it's going, the name of the business, my geographic locations, my ad, my keyword, my Google ad account, which I tied in there earlier, and my budget. So I will click start advertising. Before we can publish, it must be approved. And that makes perfect sense. So I've just published a Google My Business ad in, I don't know, 8 minutes. And then they're gonna come back to you and they're gonna show you your campaign details again, if you need those. But then you'll get those metrics that I showed you in that PowerPoint over there. You'll get to see some of those metrics. You'll see based on the number of ads that you have, which ones are doing the best, and based on the number of keywords, which ones are doing the best. Let me just show you what this normally looks like. This is Google Ads. Yeah, exactly. And you're not even sure where to go to just start a new ad. It's crazy. And I did one here as a test as well. So far, I haven't sold anything. But these are an example of the keywords that I had them buy for me. See, they're running all these ad groups with these keywords. So this is what they decided would be good keywords. Holy moly's, is that more work than I want to do. All right, so we're back here, back to dashboard. So now we have a Google ad running. And while we're in social, I just wanted to show you one other thing that I showed a client this morning, and he was like, oh, that's really cool. If you have a Constant Contact account, you can link your social pages, and then any e-blasts or events that you have, or things like ads, can be shared to those accounts. And you just click, remember we're back here into social, you just click the button that you want to connect. I have found it helps to have the page already open that you want to manage with this button. Have yourself already logged into Facebook, but it's that easy. And you can add LinkedIn. They will then, if you use this, you can create posts, you can schedule them. That's a whole different workshop. So I need to jump out and get back to after live demo. All right, John, can you see this okay? Can everyone see this new screen? Anyone? That sounds not promising.
I'm sorry. Yes, you're good. I had you on mute.
Good. Okay. So that last step that I showed you that I already had attached in the Google ad is linking your Google Ads account. And there is a nice tutorial on that. John, could you drop that in the chat box for me? If you have an account, don't make a new one. At least go look and see if you have one. Try linking. Because if you get a new one, you'll never get rid of the old one. All right, and to do it, you sign in. I'm not going to go through all these steps because you can do your Google yourself. Sign into your Google account. Make sure you trust us. Link a Google Ads account so that Constant Contact, remember, knows where to pull money from for your ads. And then set your budget. Showed you that. Said this would be the quick recap. Set your budget, review your ad details. This is not my ad. And then start advertising. This is what your results will look like. This ad had 3 clicks and cost $8. All right, so that person, it cost them a little over 246, 2369, a little less than $3 a click. Shows you your best performing, and this is the yoga one. It's really small even for me. Your best performing keyword, hot yoga near me. Remember long-tailed keywords? Everything I do is near Kalamazoo, near me, in Kalamazoo, by Kalamazoo. All right, last one, tips for driving sales. All right, there's a few ways. The first one that you might want is to drive business and sales. And I've got one for you guys for nonprofit too, I think after this. But if you're a brick and mortar, and especially right now, if you're doing carry out and online, you might be trying to do 50% distancing, whatever the laws of your state are. But right now is a really good time to let people know that you have something to offer. And in this case, we're trying to get this ad to do something, which is what? Order now. So this is going to take you to the menu. This is their landing page, their website, about events, blog, and it's going to take you right to the Roscoe sandwich. We're not going to mess around and drop them on the home page or the about page or the event page. We are taking them right to the sandwich. Always think about the end result. What is it that you want people to do? Okay, so now you're not. Now you're a nonprofit, okay? And what is it that we want this one to do? We want it to sign up for a free adoption guide. See that on the left-hand side here, the email. I had to squint to see that. Or we want to generate leads. We want people to click to call us, or to click to submit something like an email to us. And that's going to take us to that direction. And then once we get these folks in here, we can actually generate some more leads and remarket to them with their email addresses, again, using Constant Contact. So schedule my consultation. If I click there, you can bet that person's going to collect my email, and I'm going into French Consulting's marketing funnel. Google Ads can work for you. They really can. It's not as expensive as it sounds. And you can measure the results. So you know if you're spending $2 a click and your profit is $18, it's basically a return on investment or a margin. You know, if your cost of goods is $50 and the cost of selling those goods, you earn $100, that's a great margin. But if the cost of goods is $50 and you sell it for $55 and then you have to pay for shipping, that's not a great margin. Same thing with Google Ads. You have the opportunity to find opportunities to get in front of people looking for a business like yours, a product like yours, and then doing it in Constant Contact. I didn't even begin to show you what the real ads platform is like, but I'm happy to do that for you. I do a lot of training and I can teach you how to do that. But no matter what you're doing, just remember, if you run an ad with no call to action, you're basically just throwing flyers out the car door as you drive down the road. All right. Constant Contact, remember, it's got email. And I say email, that's like an email blast. When was the last time you got a coupon from a provider, or you got an update on a success story for a small business, or an award that they received, or a special product for our donors, or a gift for you? It doesn't have to be the long 12-page, industrial strength newsletter that we're all used to. An email doesn't have to be a newsletter. We got websites on Constant Contact. I have done a landing page, but not an entire website. There's a logo generator, and I love that. We've got social ads that we covered today, and also don't forget you can cross promote using social media. I'm going to stop right there and take a couple more questions, and I think we're on track for time. We have just a few minutes. But let me just go down the list and then
Well,
John
Cheri,
jump in.
let me interject before you do that.
Yes, sir.
In the chat box, I have listed a couple different times, apologies, of how to create a Google Ads account. So there's a link there. Feel free to click on it, and that should take you into setting up your own account. The other thing is, are you going to be willing to offer copies of your slides?
We cannot, these are constant contact and they do not offer them to the public, but you can watch this presentation on YouTube by other presenters, and you'll also get a copy of a transcript along with the recording of today's webinar. They're just giant and they're registered and copyrighted.
Okay, and one that's a little more technical than I can handle. The question is, can the PPC be linked to a calendar app page so they can schedule a consultation?
I do believe so, as long as the integration that you're using, like Calendly, I don't even know if that's how you say it, Calendly, I would have to say that they would have an integration for that. I would look in Constant Contact under integrations. That's that one little button along the top. If that person wants to send me an email at cheri.bales@scorevolunteer.org, I can dig into that a little bit deeper. That's pretty specialized.
All right. And we get this question quite a bit, kind of pros and cons of MailChimp versus Constant Contact. I knew that would generate a little.
I just did my first MailChimp email, and I've been doing, I mean, I used it when it first came out, and then I just started using Constant Contact. The biggest the biggest comparisons are the number of free emails that you get. So you get at a certain level in each one, that's the cheapest level or the free level. And then once you go to the next level where you have more functionality and more emails, you pay more. But what I found was that the MailChimp navigation system and the ability to create an actual email newsletter, news blast was less intuitive and more like writing code than I really liked. Because in Constant Contact, you're editing right in the email, and here you had a side editor, and I get distracted because I try to make changes in the side editor. Bottom line is a little bit of price difference, but not once you get to the higher level. I think Constant Contact has more tools now, because most of this stuff, you guys, came since March. I mean, they didn't have social ads. They didn't have landing. You can create sellable landing pages. They didn't have websites. And they have just been working around the clock. I've not investigated the MailChimp much further than that. And then the final thing I have to say is, for some reason, prior to last Monday's webinar, our Constant Contact account went rogue and no one could get into it, and we couldn't do anything with our lists. We couldn't, we could not get into Constant Contact. I am able to pick up the phone, and I'm a partner, but just the chat box on Constant Contact, you get a person and they make it right. I've had customer service reps at Constant Contact say, can you back out of that document, or can you make a copy and then back out? I'm going to fix it and then you can look at it. Well, okay, thanks. At MailChimp, you send in an email. So when we couldn't get in our account, I had no doubt, I was a little scared, I'll admit, but I had no doubt that Constant Contact would figure it out for me and would let me in. I'm also getting ready to use them. If you use this code that John has sent out for the free trial, you get an actual Constant Contact marketing assistant. It's not spam. You're going to hear from them. They're going to email. They're going to want to call you. They don't want to sell you anything. They're going to help you. I have an appointment for Wednesday to have someone set up a 16-step drip funnel. all right, in email marketing. So that's why I like Constant Contact. I just feel like they are trying harder. Their event platform is a little wonky, granted, but it's getting better, and it's on the list to be the one that you all use to register for this. It's on the list to be updated. But that's just my personal opinion. They gave us a sell sheet, and I could compare numbers and so forth, but I really just think the interface is much more sophisticated. The ability to segment audiences and send to multiple audiences. I could only find a way to send to one audience at a time with MailChimp, which meant I had to duplicate my message over and over and over. So that's my opinion.
All right. Why don't you go through some of your questions that were previously submitted?
Super. I have just a few minutes left. So how can online search ads, this is Eric Brown. Hi, Eric. How can online search ads be optimized for businesses that provide in-person services on a local level? I'm pretty sure we just talked about that with the French's Consulting. I think that might be, one of the suggestions that I would have is to get a marketing or to get an ad out to your homepage if that's where you want people to go, or remember this, schedule my consultation. So it's going to take some work to get the words right, to get the keywords right, to start seeing, because consulting is a very popular word, and you're not gonna shoot to the top of the list with that. You might be more inclined to use your business name, and think of ways people would be searching for something like what you have to offer on your solutions page. And then the in-person services, I don't know. I have right now flashing on my phone an emergency alert from the governor's office in Michigan requiring masks. So I really can't tell you when or how in-person services, but we, SCORE, as the SCORE mentor, we've taken all of our mentoring and all of our executive team meetings and everything online. And we use Zoom, and believe it or not, Zoom integrates with Constant Contact. So John, I just found that out. I'm pretty excited. All right, and we talked about how you can keep expenses low and still be effective. Keep in mind when you have peak opportunities for your product, your service, your donation. Like right at the onset of COVID, there was a big push locally to make sure that the schools and the food pantries had enough. And I ran a fundraiser for a local food pantry, and I ran like $5 a day ad, but it didn't need to go past where it achieved the amount of money it needed. I mean, I guess I could turn it off and start over, but once it hit the 5,000 mark, it was good, so I could turn the ad off. So if it's a one-time thing, turn the ad on or pause it. If it's an ongoing and it's more of a local business and it's, hey, check our menu, then you're going to just keep that going. But if the keywords that you're bidding on get to be too expensive and it's costing you more than $5 a click, because like $4.50 is about the average. I've seen as high as $35 for one client, but their normal is around $6, and that's healthcare, home healthcare. So realize that you can pause your ad, realize that you can change your budgets, realize that it doesn't take a lot of money, which answers Rex's question on how much should I spend. I think that we've shown you a $5 a day ad can do something. Now a $10 a day ad can do more. All right, so that's the idea, is you're going to play, you have to play this a little bit. It's kind of like bidding wars, storage wars, where you want that customer. You might have to pay a little bit more to get them. And if it happens to be a $6 click, but you get $50 business from that customer, then $6 doesn't feel so bad. Here's one from Clorinda. Oh, I love this. Should I still use Google Ads if my website already appears on the first page of Google? Thanks. Well, maybe. It depends. So if your website appears, is that where you're selling your product or your services? It says accessories, fearless accessories. I'll give you a plug. Is it because your search words, fearless accessories, No one else has those. That could be why you're showing up, even if you're not paying. But if you want to maintain your results under accessories or fashion accessories near me or fashion accessories online and drive business to your e-commerce site, if you have one, I think you probably do, your website, then yeah, that'd be a great test of ads. If you sell more running an ad, then run an ad. And if you run an ad and you spend $100 and you only get 2 clicks and nobody buys anything, maybe it wasn't the right ad or at the right time or the right target audience. But it's kind of a game. It really, to me, it's like playing a little stock market. But next question I only have how many minutes? Oh, 3. Julie, glad to see you back from Sausalito. I love it. Nonprofit, she is a chamber, and businesses, as we know, are just holding on by a thread. What I'm seeing as a SCORE mentor and in the field, and having done 12 weeks of these webinars, is the best thing businesses can do is to team up together. So one quick example, I don't have time for a lot of stories, but the Paint and Sip Colors and Cocktails opened their doors the day before the COVID hit. They rented their retail space, and then they were hit by looters who broke out their windows during some rioting 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, whenever. She just immediately kicked into Mother Tribe action, and she found a lavender farm, and she found a winery, and she found an aroma lab, a place right in her own block, basically, that creates custom fragrances. And they put together an online package that you chose your fragrance, you chose your wine, you chose what you wanted to paint. And the 4 of these businesses got together, boxed this thing up, advertised it like crazy, and then hosted a 4-person Zoom along with a Facebook Live to do the actual painting, sipping, and so forth. Lots and lots of opportunities for businesses to work together. The other thing in terms of tourism, you know, you're just stranded. If Disney can open, I mean, I guess it can be done. You have CDC guidelines, but I think the biggest thing there is to make sure that the audience members know what to expect. So we booked a hotel for Northern Michigan in August, and I'm not real, sold on it yet. But the first thing I noticed when I went to their website was their COVID policy, and it's 48 hours between rooms, and I liked that. So we signed up with them. Look for your special sauce. Make sure your small businesses have their websites updated, truly. Julie, if they've got wrong hours, bad links, a lot of websites don't even have their COVID hours or that they're temporarily closed. See what you can do. I know Downtown Kalamazoo Partnership, maybe look them up. They did a dining card, and the community, the restaurant community here is fabulous, and they bought these dining cards. Many of them just donated them back to workers, but they bought these dining cards from their chamber, Downtown Kalamazoo Partnership. And then lots of folks bought them, and that helped the restaurant industry. Are ads the best way to market? I'm not sure. It's one way to market. You probably need 3 or 4. Quasi-medical products. Frank, hi, thanks for joining on. Yeah, you're going to need to advertise your products. You're going to have to follow the FDA guidelines or non-FDA guidelines for supplements. I don't know how else you're going to get people to be aware of your products and services, because these are so niche. A new concept of walkers and a weight loss program. I don't know any way that you're going to be able to just get a website up there and be magically found. So you are going to probably want to commit some ad budget to that. Last question. What's the best social media platform for advertising? Constant Contact. I just told you. That's all I have, John. If no one has anything else, I would love to say thank you for attending. Don't forget, if you click that bit.ly or type that bit.ly at Cheri Bales thing in, you not only get free Constant Contact, you get a whole bunch of other stuff like custom design templates. And honestly, they're doing this to help small businesses. There's no sneaky fees. I don't think you even have to use a credit card to get a free trial. And they will call you and they will email you and they will say, let me help you. And please do take that help when it comes in. Also check our score.org website that gets you to our national locations. And you can also email me, Cheri at cherybales.com, or visit my website, which I own the name Hannah Gold Communications. I own the domain name, but it's too hard for people to remember and type in. So that's all I have. Thank you all for attending. And John, if you want to just close us out.
Well, again, thank you for everybody for staying on for the webinar. Cheri did, again, a very nice job covering some really complicated information. I would encourage each one of you to feel free to go back to the link when it comes out, go through all of that. And if you have questions, please contact Cheri, and it's Cheri at cherybales.com. Also, we would encourage you to feel free to reach out to SCORE. You can go to www.score.org and you can request a mentor. We provide mentoring services for a variety of small businesses, and it's complimentary. So feel free to click on that and include your information. And I think that is pretty much all we have.
I agree. If anyone needs another link, if I come across any other links, I should send you the 2-minute and 41-second version of how to do this. But watch for that recording to come out in the next day or so. Depends on how long it takes them to process it. But thank you again. And next Monday, what do we have next Monday? Oh, we have working on your email marketing, how to segment your email lists to get the most out of your email marketing. So that'll be next Monday at 4. I'll send you a link to sign in. Hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Excited about them.